All
Start
right.
video. You're
So you should
live, it
be
says.
home, and yeah, let's see you pop up on YouTube. Get
I
that
don't,
chat up and running real quick, and we should be good to go.
not
I
seeing it
don't
right
see the
now,
live
but.
on YouTube yet.
Up, it just popped up.
All right,
Okay,
awesome.
we're there.
Yep, XRP live stream, and I can hear it good, and we are good to go. Probably gonna have people jumping in right away. I'm gonna pop chat
Woo!
out here.
We're here.
All right. So Hayden,
It's a
I
little.
will ask you right away.
Let's let people fill in. Let's let people fill in. Some people are joining. We got Michael, Gerard, Chris Allen, Jesus, Kuba, David. What's up, guys? We have a special
Welcome,
guest today. We
welcome.
got 46 people in the live stream right now. I'm excited.
It's gonna be awesome.
We got to do the checks. Does everybody hear us loud and clear? Testing 1, 2, 3. Brady.
Oh yeah, I can hear you loud and clear, Hayden.
Does everybody hear us? Make sure to comment in the chat. What's up, guys? Let's see if anybody says they can hear us. Make sure everything's okay. Everyone's saying, what's up? What's up? Yes, let's go. Shout out Liam. We got 100 people in the chat. Baby, are you ready, Brady?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready, Hayden.
Everybody's saying it's all good. It's working.
Awesome. All
Uh,
right, awesome.
Well, let's introduce Brady right here. We've been setting this up. We've been talking about this for a couple weeks now, and it's finally time that we put a face to this masked man and start with live streams. We've finally been able to try to do this full time, or just be able to try to go live a little more often here on the channel, and we're gonna try to do stuff like this a lot more often.
Yeah, Hayden, just I want to say thank you so much for bringing me on finally. I know we've been trying to do this for a long time. It feels really good, and I know like you guys might know me from the Discord. I know I've been in there quite a bit, so you guys will see me around. I'm that hashtag B or that hashtag B that you'll see around in Discord. I help run the Patreon too, so you guys have probably read some of my writing if you guys have joined that at all. And yeah, I'm just be here. I think it's going to be an awesome live stream, and I hope we can continue this in the future too, man. There's so much we can do, talk about. I just want to show you guys everything that we can go through, and yeah, there's going to be a lot of good things to come out of this. So I'm just excited.
Yeah, for sure. I've managed to grow crypto TV so big now that I've needed to find other people to help. And really, Brady just, checked off every box that was needed. So he was an essential asset to the crypto TV community, and he does great work. There's at times he knows more than I do. So it's awesome to have him here, and we're gonna show you guys this now on the channel. But we had to set everything up: dual monitors, the microphones, camera equipment. We had to set up the Mac system for Apple, and then he had to set his whole setup up. But everything's here, everything's up and running finally, and now it's time to get into the nitty gritty and answer you guys' questions, as well as give you guys a maybe like a debate and agreement as to how we're viewing this market to get everybody caught up.
Yeah, and that's what I'm really, really excited about too, to answer your guys' questions. I mean, we're going to be able to go through any chart pretty much at any point in the live stream, and we'll be able to discuss, I guess, further. I know I'm probably more bearish than most people, so I'll get a little bit different of a perspective on it, but I'm excited to see, what Hayden will bring up, and what we can kind of add to the whole discussion together. It's really going to be just going forward. You're going to be able to see how everybody's thinking about this entire market. And Hayden, I want to ask you right away, are you bullish or bearish on Bitcoin as of right now, today, in
Well,
this current moment?
my screen's pulled up here. Obviously, I'm definitely leaning more bearish than I've been for a while. Obviously, there's a little hopium left that we want to see a swing to 40K, and things are still slightly optimistic to seeing a break to 40,000. But just with the constant bombardment of resistances, we're starting to see prices just drop lower and lower and lower. And then really, we had this big support at 30K, as you can see, ever since the beginning of January of 2021, and we've been using this for quite some time now. And just today did we see, a candle break us lower than that support. And this is a big thing for me. If we continue to move down here and close daily support levels below, or daily candles below this support, there's a lot telling me we're going to drop to 20. I mean, I hope we don't. Obviously, we want to see prices shoot up to 60K again in all-time highs, but we might see a lot of correction until we get that successful break back up to, all-time highs. But until then, I'm just seeing the markets go lower and lower and lower. So.
Yeah. No, honestly, like 20K, and I hope it happens quickly. I know a lot of people do not want to hear that, That's one of the biggest problems with this entire market, is that we all have a very bullish bias towards it, Even if we do fly up pretty high here, we need to break over quite a few resistances. And I know you've talked about that on your channel. What number are you looking at right now for where like the bulls can really kind of step back in? If we do have that bullish hope to break over 60K, what would we need to do first?
I mean, trying to do this as unbiased as I can without putting, any hope in this market. When you just look at how big this mountain is here, that we're starting to form with this peak here, it looks like we're coming down probably to 20,000. That's the next support. I just want to give a huge shout out to Jesus for giving us a donation of $5 into the chat. Talk about Flare Spark airdrop. Is it really being moved to September? That might be something we're going to have to talk about after this, because I feel like
I can bring that up.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk about that right after this. We got 160 people in the chat right now, and they're all interested in what the heck's going on with Bitcoin. But to answer Brady's question, I do think we have a chance at these, mental barriers, which are probably set at the $10,000 ranges. So I'm looking for 20K to be the first pullback, since we're breaking through the 30K support right now, flowing down to 20, and maybe the end of this bear market would be somewhere close to $8,000 to $12,000, and then we can start to head back up. But there's a chance every time we hit that barrier at 20K, at 10K, at 30K. And feel free to let me know whenever you want me to pull up your screen, and you can show everyone what we got going on.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and actually pull it up right now. I kind of have a couple of key levels to look at. I think everybody, maybe should see the potential here of what can happen. I know, first of all, I posted a chart maybe 3 or 4 months ago that literally had us going back to 10K, and we're almost in that exact formation right now. So I just want to be kind of wary of that. Like, we could see a very big drop off here. Now, I know mentioning this, I can't just say 10K without an actual proposition for it. So I am going to just bring this up here. Kind of what we're looking at for the 10K area would be, because that is where the breakout happened, right? So if you guys remember, we went from 9K to 11K, and then we retested we went from 9K to 14K and retested the 11K range. And that 11K range, we built a pretty strong basis there for Bitcoin to actually get its routes up. And that's actually where we caught a 60K run. We went 5X. Usually at a 5X, a lot of legacy market players will sell, because that is like a pretty big gain. I'm expecting that's where they're going to be buying yet again. Now, for me personally, I think we will retest the top of these moving averages. So before we go really, really far down, we'll have kind of a bullish relief here in this range. It might happen at like 25.8. We might see like 25.8 back up to 43, and then we'll kind of confirm that bear market before going even lower. And I think we kind of get that from the 100-day moving average and the 50-day moving average. So that'll be the highlighted yellow line here and the highlighted blue line here, a little bit further up, respectively. And I think we'll see those get retested before we do head back quite a bit lower. So it is pretty crazy. I mean, we're going to see probably a lot of FUD. You'll probably see like the EU ban Bitcoin or something like that. You'll see something wild, maybe not ban Bitcoin, but they'll do like a ban like over 10K or something like that. I know that's kind of in the talks. And then we'll probably have that bearish pullback that's going to like end the market, quote unquote. But Bitcoin always comes back. We know that. So, you know, high in the 10K ranges, no matter how bad it might seem at the time, buy in the 10K if we get it again. But yeah, I mean, that's honestly probably 2-3 weeks out. I think we'll have maybe a quick rush up the rest of the week here. We'll probably see Bitcoin go up to 35, 37K, that range. And then we'll probably see that giant flush out. I don't think we're quite at it yet. So guys, these 1% moves to the downside or 2% moves to the downside are not end. They're not going to be what kills Bitcoin, you know?
Sure.
In the long run, you zoom out, you know?
You know, that's a big thing too. I mean, I'm going to pull up my charts here, but let me get that here. Boom. Okay. So, I mean, realistically, you know, this is probably the second bear market or maybe the third, but for sure the second bear market I'm really living in right now. The first one that happened was a huge learning experience for me, just trying to understand how exactly these markets are moving. But the fact is we've lived through it. I mean, the first time, yeah, I understand that. And the second time it happens is more than a coincidence. And the fourth and fifth and sixth, it's just showing how cyclical Bitcoin is. Even though we're seeing this drop, it's not over. And understand every single time we've decided to come back up, it always almost goes higher than we have previously. It's a consistent thing. So the next bull run we might have could easily send us up to $70, $80, $100,000 within Bitcoin, and the rest of cryptocurrencies will obviously follow suit, setting new all-time highs. Bitcoin will probably be that big leader and then have volume, you know, inject and fall into these other cryptos. But ultimately, I'm not really that worried long term, maybe 2 years from now, a year from now. I think we're going to be coming back up, and the next run is going to be so much more aggressive now that crypto adoption is so much easier for people to buy into it and sell it and just get involved in this market. So I think realistically, we're in no like bad shape. This is just another healthy correction that Bitcoin needs. But how long do you see this lasting? I know that's a big question for a lot of you guys, and that's a big one here. But you know, you rip the Band-Aid off. Let us know, what is it that you think? How much longer do you think this market's going to last?
So that's the question everybody is trying to ask or trying to answer. Nobody has a direct answer for that, and it's probably for good reason. I mean, we don't have any big players playing the market yet. It doesn't seem like, at least, right? I saw like a Twitter post earlier today that said, oh yeah, why aren't like exchanges buying here to increase their volume in the future? And it is a really odd question. You kind of see that like even the biggest players like Novogratz and Kaiser, they're not really talking about the extended bear market. I don't think a lot of people are even looking in that term because we're in the quote unquote super cycle, right? You know, historically, Bitcoin during its halvening cycles, right, every 4 years, we do seem to get a massive pump. It was the cause of this one, most likely. I'm going to say, you know, the halvening happened at about 5K Bitcoin. And now we're up to 60K, and now we're back down to 30K. You know, historically, we've seen the 80% Bitcoin drops. It's pretty normal. You know, we haven't not lived through it before. If I had a guess, the old classic tale of sell in May, go away, come back in November, if you remember, will probably end up living through this cycle too. So I think by the end of this year, I think we'll start seeing a little bit more life in Bitcoin. We may not necessarily see the 60K run again. Yeah. But, you know, maybe if we go down to 10K in the next like couple months, say by the end of October, we're kind of in that like 10, 12K range. We may see Bitcoin go back up to 20, 25, 30, you know, we'll maybe see like a nice little pump at the end of the year here. And then maybe after 2021 into 2022, we'll kind of see this flush out. I don't know what will happen in 2022. I think it'll kind of more depend on how, particularly the U.S. will end up running, you know, regulations on Bitcoin. Will we end up seeing even say like the Ripple lawsuit? Will we see a conclusion to that? Will we see how they kind of handle the rest of the market after we get a conclusion on that lawsuit? I know a lot of people in here are talking about XRP. So it might be worth it to kind of go into that lawsuit quite a bit. Like I know like the Flare network, everybody wants to talk about that. Will it come back out in September? Will that be a catalyst for another bull market? Will that be kind of where the regulations will end up settling out? We don't know. And I honestly want to see like a bull run at the end of the year. I don't think it'll be as big as the 3K to 60K, but we could see, like I said, 10, 12, 13K up to maybe 30K by November, you know, like the end of December, into the end of the year. That's why I'm really praying that we kind of make these next couple moves that we see on the weekly and the daily charts, like today and tomorrow, or, you know, into like next week, to really start moving quickly. We need to get this market flushed out. We need to see where we're going to go, you know? And I think the whole world is kind of watching secretly, maybe not in the news. Yeah. And
we're waiting.
We're waiting, right? And
yep.
Being here every single day, have you seen any sentiment changes over the last week or 2 or 3 weeks even, or last month? You know, I mean, have you noticed anything?
From a bigger standpoint, obviously, you know, we started this channel to, let me just get this stuff off. I'm pulling up my charts. All right. So from I guess more of a macro standpoint, looking at this market, people are bored. I do believe that people are still involved and invested in watching the charts and understanding how everything's moving. But, you know, people are losing interest because, you know, the demographics of what, you know, everyone watches on my channel is between like 25 and maybe 55. It's an older generation, and, you know, people are losing interest. They're finding other things. The stock market's been really healthy up until like today or 2 days ago. It has been pretty healthy otherwise, but they're finding other things to invest in and put their money in until the markets pick back up again in Bitcoin. I mean, we just do this as a job, so we're constantly paying attention to it. But I mean, we saw this back in 2018 and 2019 until we started getting some traction where you start to see views go down on channels and, you know, watch time goes down, but it's a constant cycle. And then subscribers, you know, drop down and get slower, and eventually those all start to pick back up as the markets start to regain some traction again. But I don't blame people for getting bored. I mean, why check and watch videos every single day if literally on XRP here, since the 22nd, we've been trading between, you know, 56 and like 70 cents for over a month and a half, for like practically 2 months trading sideways. Who gives a crap about that? Nobody's interested. Why check it if you know the price is going to stay the same? It's hard to trade that.
Yeah.
So it's a waiting game right now. Obviously, more momentum will come whether we decide to fall terribly or if we decide to start swinging back up. It will bring some momentum back into this market that a lot of people have been waiting for, because obviously in today's age we can now short crypto, which is a good thing. For most people that are probably watching this, all 210 people watching this live stream right now, wow, you guys should know by now how to leverage trade and short cryptocurrency. So, you know, if we do see this market close today on XRP, we're probably going to see it pull a lot lower a lot quicker before we start to see any sort of recovery. So it'll be a good opportunity to short it for us. But for the general market, they're just going to sell out. And, you know, it'll just fuel us to short it to the downside.
Yeah. No, and I know like the biggest liquidity right now is probably to the downside. Yes. So it is something to think about. The markets usually gravitate towards that. Like just think about like a giant magnet is at the very bottom of this chart right now, because that's where people are trying to like catch it, right? Like people want to get the most
The
money for
bottom.
their bread. So
Mm-hmm.
the bottom, right? And we're not gonna ever be able to catch exact bottoms. I think there's only one time in history that I've ever like longed the exact bottom of a local area, even. So it's probably not going to be the easiest for a lot of people.
Yeah.
In Arizona, Jones, just to answer your question, there was a glitch on OKX earlier today too, where Bitcoin actually dumped to about 8K. So
What?
it definitely still happens on a lot of exchanges, guys. Keep your sync bids down there. You know, you never know when they're gonna fill. I remember Kraken like a couple of months ago on Ethereum had a dump, and it was like when Ethereum was trading up in the 3,500 range, it dumped down to about $800, and somebody got a bid up there. So you never know when it's gonna happen. Just something to keep in mind.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else, where else we can dive into, because I know we got so much to talk about. Whether it's XRP we can stick on or some of these other cryptocurrencies. I mean, I guess a big controversy, which we're having at least on my channel, and hopefully you can comment and pull up your charts, is like we said, there's what I'm starting to see, or what we were seeing, is some sort of like double bottom formation, and a lot of people were on and off about it, and I'm seeing it more in XRP and the Ethereum charts over Bitcoin and Binance. I actually just started pulling up and looking at the Binance token, which is right here, which seems to have some major, downtrend forming on this coin and a very strong support. And actually just today we were, testing potentially closing below this support level, which I think would just drop this coin if we do decide to close on a support that's been holding ourselves up since the beginning of January. The constant consolidation here, if broken, which I feel like the uncertainty, there's only a few days left in this consolidation, and then we'll decide which direction we want to move to. But bringing things back, Ethereum and XRP both have this, double bottom formation here, and I'll draw it out for everyone. You can see I'm seeing this double bottom formation. Some people are calling it just a retest of the bottom, or because we're not seeing the big W just yet, like the prices at the top haven't hit constantly. But the main focus that I'm having is these bottoms, and I've been talking about it on my channel for a while. This is now the second time we're coming to retest a very strong support. And I mean, I think that if even on Ethereum or XRP, we close below this support level, like we're trying to do today, it could really sink XRP and Ethereum to the next, support barrier, which I would think is closer to like 25 cents. This bottom here that we didn't lift off from since early January. So what do you think about this? Is this like a vital support level here? 50, maybe 55, 52 cents at this support that you can see on XRP? Like if this doesn't hold, I think we're going to see a big volume, I guess a big spike of volume leaving this market, and I do believe it will just sell us down, which is a good short opportunity. But I'm going to pull up your charts.
Yeah, no, I think you are right in saying that. I think if we do have a big break to the downside, if we see, okay, so just on Ethereum right now,
Yeah, I see it there
had that
too.
pulled up for a moment. I have this line basically posted back from March of 2021, so I guess it's a couple months back here. We had a big breakout out of this point, and right now we're testing that horizontal support line at the very bottom. Now, I will mention this. When you kind of zoom in a little bit, you get a little bit more bearish as you zoom in, because we have been sweeping the lows, and we did have a 4-hour close below the previous wick, which is like the 1759 area. We did have a close at the 1720 area yesterday. So just something to think about, that if we do test this again, we probably will break through. And, it's something to keep in mind, because we are not getting bullish bidding here. We're kind of just hitting previous buys. So when people do bid this, right, when bulls are bidding, you usually see a higher entry the second time, and that's how you know that the market's bullish. Right now, because we are getting 4-hour closes below the previous wick, if you, again, look at 1759 and 1722, we are going to notice something different about the structure here. We probably will see further downside. Now, for Ethereum in particular, you probably want to accumulate in the $1,200 to $800 range. Is pretty far down.
Yeah.
I'm not buying here. I know that. I know a lot of people are probably in that same realm as I am. They're not necessarily putting in aggressive buys here. You can see it from the chart structure alone. There is a lot of overhead. We're looking at a 4-hour EMA here. So we have the 200 or it would be the 200-hour and the 150-hour on my chart here. And you can see like 2K to basically 2,200 all the way up to that, completely bearish. So if Ethereum breaks through, we'll probably see Binance get shorted. We'll probably see XRP get shorted too. So just something to keep in mind. I would probably keep eyes on Bitcoin here, because if Bitcoin can break up, these might break down. I think that's something that you just kind of got to get in the habit of doing in general, is just looking at the Bitcoin chart, seeing if we're bullish or bearish, and then you'll kind of notice Ethereum follow.
Exactly. But that is a strong, bottom that we're now retesting again. And notice every time we retest that on your charts, we're setting a lower high. Like, look at each time we decide to move back off that, we bounce and, rappel back up. It's hitting 2750, then the second time I'm seeing it's going to like 2250, or if not lower. I mean, just following that out.
Yeah, but the thing is, the bounces are getting weaker, and I think that's something that we all have to fear a little bit.
And I call it like a basketball you can compare it to, or a ripple effect, that the first time you smack it on the ground, it goes up so much higher, and then it loses its momentum, and eventually it should break through. Historically, that's what usually happens, and I feel like we're getting exhausted. The market's getting swept, and eventually that support is not going to hold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one more low on that sweep too. You're gonna clear out everybody who's leverage trading again. Now I know a lot of you guys, like, you might be into that leverage trading, maybe on 5 or 4x. There's a lot of people on like 20x and 50x too, and I can tell you right now, they are not aggressively buying. It is just something to note when you're looking on that 5 or 10-minute chart, or 20-minute chart, or 30-minute chart. When you kind of zoom in quite a bit, there's not people buying. So you have to think in terms of, what are the whales really doing, right? We're just fishing the ocean. We're swimming through. We're shrimp in the ocean at the end of the day, where we might be crustaceans, I guess, because I don't know how much Bitcoin you guys all have. But we are, probably the smaller players in this market. And the bigger players are not buying here. They're not leveraging. They're not using any type of, like brokerage or anything like that. They are waiting. They're playing it safe, and they are probably also bidding that really low range. I do have a note here at the 448 mark. That is previous resistance at the beginning of the year. So just something to think. Back in 2020, we had major support there. If we come back down and retest the 440 for Ethereum, that's a full retrace. That's probably not something that we want to be doing. So I'm hoping that we don't hit that low, because if we do have a 90% retrace on Ethereum, I think we won't see this market recover for 4 or 3 years again. So, and no, I'm not Moyer in the chat. Sorry, guys. It is Crypto Overdose, Bitcoin Overdose on Twitter. You can go follow me over there.
Also, check out the description. We put Brady's YouTube channel. I'm sure you can find all of his links through his channel. Oh, yeah. But definitely check it out in the... Yeah, and he's in Discord, so we can post some stuff up in there. But, yeah, definitely make sure to check him out. Links are all in the description.
What is your thought on kind of Binance versus Ethereum, or, like more of... are you using those coins every day to like trade on the DeFi dexes at all, or what have you kind of had for experiences with that?
In regards to just like leverage trading, or like I mean my overall opinion, I don't have a strict. Recently, it's basically pulling up what people find the most interesting and charting their cryptocurrencies, and recently a lot of people were talking about Binance, so that's why we did it this week. Last week was Doge with all the hype that's just been around Doge. And what I'm noticing just by charting more than one crypto or trading more than one crypto is there's a lot of similarities right now between cryptocurrencies and their charts. So that's why I keep a broad list of things, because what you might not find on one chart, it's very similar to another, and you can find the same, or better technical patterns that you can pull up. And for example, XRP and Ethereum, what I've noticed is these most recent past couple months, we've had very similar chartings and, much stronger supports. And I'll pull it up right here so most people can kind of see this bottom that's playing out with the double retest. Same thing with XRP here as well. And then pulling up Bitcoin and Binance, or it was Bitcoin and Doge, but Bitcoin, we're noticing that bigger, more so this like descending fractal or downtrend that's had a lot of resistance trying to break up, and it's been months now where we've been trying to break through it and we haven't. And then the same thing kind of applies itself with Binance, where there's also this strong resistance that we have not really been able to break through in any means, and since then it's just been consolidating out. So has there been like a specific crypto that I like to trade around in? Not necessarily. If there's so many out there right now, it's hard to pick just a few and focus on them. So you can either hop around with different cryptos like we like, and it's pretty much whatever's on the exchanges that I like to use, whether it's on Bityard or some of the newer ones we're looking at. It's basically tabulating through those, noticing a similar pattern to ones that, are in the top 10 that I can base reference on, and going in through that. But
Yeah. Okay. And I know like the biggest thing right now is just finding coins that have volume on them.
yeah,
I know a lot of people like trading in and out of kind of Chainlink. If you kind of get down to that 15-minute chart on Chainlink, you can usually find that pattern on Bitcoin pretty easily too. But yeah, like some of it is just finding the right formation to trade too. I know we can talk about TA quite a bit, but when you kind of look at it right now, almost every single coin is in the same exact formation.
Bingo.
Just, again, pulling up Binance Coin, pulling up Ethereum, pulling up XRP. They're all at that double bottom cross where it's like, it is that make or break moment for crypto in general. And with Bitcoin kind of starting that downtrend, kind of going a little bit further down today. I mean, honestly, that 30K break was a pretty big psychological support that we thought we had, right?
I'll pull yours up. You want me to pull your chart up?
Oh, I don't have Bitcoin pulled up yet. Go ahead and pull up yours for now.
Yeah, mine's up. But no, you're right. There is that. That was a big one, and it still is today. Like, it's getting me anxious on how we're going to start trading out, but everything's setting itself up for a big bounce off the bottom support. That's really how I'm looking at this. The fact is that 30K, we've been talking about it probably every single day now for over a month. And I'm sure it gets boring. I mean, I can tell the views go down, but it gets boring. But 30K was a huge support that we've talked about. The price ceiling was set at 40. The price floor is set at 30K. And the fact is, we're at $29,700. So let's see how today plays out, but it's not looking too good. The goal would be we close above it again, and then hopefully we can get some volume to swing us back to 40,000. I mean, there's two approaches. Either we close below this, 30K, price floor, and we dump, which is honestly where I'm leaning more towards, or we get some sort of volume come into it, and maybe we close above it for the next day or two, and then hopefully we can trickle back up to retesting resistances at 40K, because that's where it was in the past. I mean, we saw it in mid-June. We saw it earlier in January, that this pretty much set itself up as this resistance at the top here. It's also where, at least for me, where I have the 35 and 100-day moving averages, they're kind of intertwined at that 40K level. So have we had this conversation 2 months ago or 3 months ago in May? I would have said, okay, off this bounce of 30K, maybe we would have had an opportunity to hit levels as high as 48,000. But the longer we've been consolidating here, the lower our averages are moving, and it's setting up resistances at 40,000 now. So with much luck, even if we had our bounce up to 40K, that's really it. We're not going to go much higher, and that could ultimately set ourselves up for another correction. I mean, like, look at this. I'm drawing it out right now. Let's say we hit this. Let's say by some stroke of luck we come and retest this strong resistance level. Where does that leave us? I mean, we're starting a downtrend. We have, lower highs each time where we're hitting resistance and resistance again, and this could be the third confirmation in this downtrend and this reversal. And not only that, we have the price ceiling that's hitting 40K. We have the moving averages at 30K. We had an uptrend that we were using until it broke bearish, which you can see we started all the way back in October. The support right here got broken earlier in May or end of May. But they all seem to align themselves with $40,000 to $42,000. And I believe you had charts that also, and indicators that aligned with 40K if you want to show everyone. How coincidental that we do this.
Yep. Yeah. No, go ahead and pull my chart back up too. And I do have a weekly moving average up right now that I think is probably worth looking at for a lot of people. Kind of people who only buy, like once every month or whatever might find this a little bit more useful for dollar cost averaging. You guys can see here the yellow line that's going to be a 50-week moving average, right? And then below that, you're going to have that blue line that's going to be a 100-week moving average. So, these are quite a few, these are like yearly levels, right? Now, this week, literally yesterday, we did break below the 50-week moving average. Now, historically, we do usually come in with a bigger correction after that. Not going to say that these completely flip bearish quite yet. But we kind of have a couple different scenarios that I want to run through. Now, either we get a weekly close above the 50-week yet again. We have that correction kind of back up to that 45 area, and then we kind of see this pander out. That's probably the most bullish case scenario. That would be end of the year, like that kind of May runoff that I've been talking about. Or, and this is like not the fun one, but this is probably more likely to happen, right? We're going to come back down. We're going to test kind of that 20K area. We're probably going to flip up, and then from there, it's either down or up, right? So we're kind of going to pander out in here with not really too much movement at all the rest of the year. I know last time we did this.
Well, that's what happened. That's what happened in like 2018, 2019. We saw that.
2019, it was exactly what happened, right? We went from 3K to 14K. We had the moving averages get retested back here in the November of 2019 chart. So you guys can see that here at the 7K mark, roughly. We ended up bouncing off the moving average, right? So we got that little bit of a pump to the upside, the one that would be the equivalent to about 45K now, 43K, that range. And then from 10K, we had the March pandemic crash. If you guys remember that back in 2020, the whole market went bad. I mean, it wasn't just crypto. We saw gold and silver and the S&P 500 tank too. But we had about a 50% dump overnight. And that was right back to these moving averages. We caught like a 4,200 wick. Nobody really bought there. Nobody was, I sold, I think probably below 5K. I'm going to be honest. I was not feeling happy about this market at that point. But, we ended up bouncing back. I ended up buying back in when we got these moving averages reclaimed and everything here. But we saw it do pretty much nothing. If you really zoom out on 2020, from 2019 to 2020, it took us a year and a half to pretty much catch the moving average again here at that 9,500 spot. And remember how bearish we were at the 9,300 spot. Everybody was predicting that we would go all the way back down from 9K back to 5K, right? Everybody thought that we were going to retest that range again, and we didn't. So I think we're seeing something pretty similar now to where we will kind of get that long drawn out, not too much movement. We're gonna try to reclaim that moving average. The more I look at it, maybe not 10K, but even if we go down to 20K, people are not going to be buying there. There's probably going to be a lot more sellers than buyers. And that's really where we can get a big shakeout. And maybe the weeks won't close as low as we think, because, even back here, the week closed at 5,300. even though we got down to 3,500 that week, right? So we might see 10K for
Yes, within a
a
week.
day. Yeah, and then it might be back up to 10, like 15,000 or 20K.
Yeah.
So it can happen very quick. You guys got to remember, we've been in this market for like, most of us have probably been here through 2017 to now. Now I know I've been through a couple more bear markets than probably the rest of y'all, but that ages me out a little bit. But yeah, this is probably nothing to worry about long term. It's going to take a while to recover. It's not going to happen overnight, unfortunately.
It's
It can move
definitely,
fast in
yeah.
a week, but you
Yeah.
got to look at the monthly candles.
I feel like, so my only thought to this is like throwing a new, variable into the equation is in 2017, you had Coinbase, you had Binance, and, Kraken and Gemini, and you had those exchanges, and now we can barely use half of them if you're in New York. But other things have come up, and we can, use derivatives on Robinhood and stuff like that. But right now, there's a lot more people knowingly ready to invest into crypto. Like 2017, everyone was calling it a bubble. We dropped. The same people have since then been quiet in 2020. When Bitcoin tripled what it made in 2017, they're quiet now. It's hard for them to talk, saying that it was a bubble in 2017, and now we triple the price and shoot all the way back up. So what I feel like is going to happen moving forward, there's this possibility, and I'd like to hear your opinion, is maybe it's not going to be as drawn out now. Maybe we'll see a bottom, but maybe it will be quicker because it's easier to buy Bitcoin. It's easier to get involved in this market. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't know if it's going to happen. Maybe it is going to take another year and a half before we get out of this shitty bear market, which at some point we will, because, it does have every 4 years. But at some point, we are going to, I would like to see how, with so many more people invested and involved in crypto, and all these new coins and all these new reasons, and that this is the hot topic, is this market going to be as drawn out as it used to, or is it going to be quicker? That's my curiosity.
And I know, like, bringing up the use case of crypto is going really far away from Bitcoin. I just brought this up on the screen right now, if you guys are looking here. These are weighted indexes for where transactions are coming from. And you guys can see Uniswap as the number one, right? It's like 49% of DeFi. That's the thing. Crypto is kind of going towards this DeFi space. So maybe DeFi recovers faster than Bitcoin at the current rate of adoption. Now, looking at it from like where you can access it, yes, like you can get it now on Robinhood, you can get it on PayPal, and Venmo, I think, is adding crypto, if I'm not mistaken.
Cash App,
and you can buy it
everything.
on Cash App. And I mean, all of this is available right from your phone right away. I know Robinhood, we can talk about how they really don't hold the asset. I don't really want to talk about that today. That might be a longer video in the future. That's a really long topic to cover. But you can withdraw from pretty much like Cash App, and I don't know if PayPal does withdrawals yet for Bitcoin, but I can tell you on-chain data will elaborate a lot more than probably what the exchanges are letting on us to know, right? Like the common person is not sending Bitcoin. That's a fact. I mean, we can talk about the El Salvador case and how they tried to implement it very, very quickly with lightning payments. It didn't work out well at all for them, so it's kind of unfortunate. But you see even people there like going back to cash fully too. And it's because the Bitcoin network just is not ready for this kind of mass adoption. We have a lot of miners getting turned off in China. That will probably come back towards the US actually, and that's why I think regulation by the end of the year is pretty important, but I don't know how that will play out long term, and that's why the Ripple case is so important. Is Ripple going to be deemed like a security? Will XRP be detached from the company completely, and will we kind of see XRP grow without the Ripple incorporation? Will Ripple get fined for launching a security and then making it a digital currency after the fact? Can you retroactively enact a law like that? We will see how that plays out. But I think it's important to decentralize the mining of Bitcoin. And, with the miners getting turned off in China and, people able to get, we can talk about like the chip shortage too, but with people able to get some of those reverse miners that are not activated on crypto anymore and they're kind of going back towards gaming now, I think that'll kind of, I don't know, I guess change the incentive of the entire market and where we can go forward from here. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to bring this up for a second. The DeFi space is definitely going to be the one that does recover quicker if we do, in fact, to get something like, Bitcoin regulations or something like that set in. Because DeFi is completely away from all of the other exchanges, right? Like we don't have to worry about Coinbase. We don't have to worry about Robinhood. We don't have to worry about Cash App.
You got to worry about you got to worry about gas fees though.
Well, yeah, that's the problem, right? Like you end up paying an arm and a leg just to send $10. It was funny. Last time I used Ethereum, I was sending $250, and I paid a $22 gas fee for that. So, potato exchange fees, like Coinbase. Coinbase used to have really high fees. Now that doesn't even look like it's it doesn't even look like a fee anymore when you start using Uniswap on the regular.
Yeah, no, Coinbase isn't that bad at least if you're moving like heavy weight. It's only like $10-20 on, $10,000 or $15,000. So.
Yeah, no, it's really not bad in the grand scheme of thing, and it's just funny, man. Like I said, sending $200 on the Ethereum network pretty much costs you half the transaction at this point because you have to convert it from Ethereum, and then you're going to Uniswap, and then Uniswap is going to do a transaction over to Coin of Choice, and then Coin of Choice has to go back into Uniswap eventually, and you pretty much have to 10x to even make money on any of these Ethereum gas fees or anything.
So I see in the chat everyone's talking about the SEC case and Ripple and how is it going to affect the price. That's definitely a question we've covered, or at least I've covered quite a lot before, and it's with everything. I feel like a lot of the times, like the correlation isn't always causation. That's not the reason why we're seeing what's going on. Even like today. I mean, today is a good example with the S&P 500, although I do think that I believe some sort of organization actually just came out with that the inflation on the dollar has actually gone up like 5%, which we haven't seen since like 08 or 09. This is the first time in a very long time we've seen massive inflation. But it was also, and they're saying that's what caused the dip. Now, I mean, then one can say, as doing technical analysis, when you look at this, while we are at the top, this is an all-time high for the market. We are hitting, we are overextended on our indicators. So it had every reason to correct lower. And then they throw in news in relation that, okay, we're going to see a correction. We're going to see, the dip. And then they blame it on whatever news comes out or whatever news they can wrap around it. And I think it's very similar to what happened back in March, which I know was, COVID hit, COVID happened. But you can see right here, and I'm pulling up all the way back now in February into March, we were hitting oversold again. We hit the top resistance on our major 11-year ascending fractal, and we hit overbought, and we were due for a correction, and we did. So it's very similar then that we have all these other reasons, COVID and all these other, stipulations as to why the market corrected. I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist as to why these markets dipped when they did, or the reasons behind them, or whether it was a controlled reason when you're starting to talk about the S&P 500 and the overall economy. But the same thing can then be applied to XRP. So what I think about XRP right now is it's not the number one cryptocurrency. It's trading at number 7. It doesn't have nearly the same market cap as it did a couple years ago compared to where Bitcoin is. It used to be trading at number 2. Now it's number 7. So volume is not in XRP as it is in Bitcoin and Ethereum and Tether and Binance Coin. They hold and make up majority of the market in for cryptocurrencies. So when we see these cryptocurrencies move, then XRP is going to be effective. Yeah, if we hear, the SEC lawsuit they lost or they won, I'm sure it's going to have a small influence on the coins. But, I mean, even in this drop, even when the lawsuit happened, I'm pretty sure we hit prices as high as $2 for XRP. After the break to the downside, we still saw prices hit, I don't know, $2. So I don't think there's the correlation. I don't think it's going to have an effect at a technical analysis and price standpoint. And I also believe that XRP and Ripple are separate entities now, and they've made they've made that statement already. So feel free to comment more on that, because that's what everybody seems to be interested in.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is the real question. Do you know if they'd made that clear distinction in court yet? Like, the Ripple entity versus the XRP currency? Have they made that clear distinction yet?
I don't know. I haven't followed it as much as everyone else in this chat is, but what I'm reading and listening to is we used to have Ripple. Like, that was the ticker symbol. It was Ripple. And then we changed it to XRP. So I feel like they purposely are trying to separate the two entities. That's my thought on this. It used to be the same. They used to call it the same, and then they changed it entirely. There's a reason for that.
Yeah. I know, like, it's all the retroactive. Like, I don't think the government can retroactively enact a law, but they could make a new law stating that, like, hey, if you've made a currency in the future, I guess, and this is kind of where it kind of applies to ETC, Ethereum, and the rest of the crypto market as a whole. Will going forward, any company that does make a cryptocurrency for their business model, will that essentially be deemed a currency or a security, right? And that's kind of where the whole, like, relation comes in. It's not just Ripple that we're talking about when we are talking about that possibility in the future. I'm sorry, guys. I have this chart up right now. It's called Trade Block. You can actually see the live transactions on the Bitcoin chain. I just wanted to pull it up to see if there was any large amount of volume. You guys can see here that the amount of value that's being transferred on Bitcoin is actually going up pretty quickly. We seem to have a block about every 40 minutes, though. So keep that in mind. If you guys are trading today, like, it might be pretty volatile. You'll get quite a bit of fast movements in a short amount of time. That's probably what's going to be something to keep an eye on today. But yeah, tradeblock.com. If you guys need this, I'll put this in chat. It's a pretty helpful, like, kind of trading service. It'll help you guys out if you guys are day trading today and tomorrow. Especially, you'll kind of see where the big movers are coming in from. There's like 5 Bitcoin being moved right now on chain in this block, and a lot of these transactions are not clearing. You guys can see the red ones popping through. They're not working out well. So Bitcoin is overlogged right now. I don't know what the mempool is looking pretty high. You can see this, like, on the right side here. This is a really, really helpful tool, though. If you guys, again, are, like, trying to go through day trading, you can probably see that you're about to get a pretty big move whenever this block clears, right? Because a lot of exchanges are in this. This should be a pretty big one, so something to keep in mind. We might see a pump or a dump today in the next hour or so, but yeah, getting sidetracked there. I think the Ripple case for getting relisted back onto Coinbase is going to be a really big momentum change in XRP, and I don't know if it'll be negative or positive. I think everybody's kind of wondering, like, hey, will we see a really, really big pump after it gets listed back on Coinbase because people can buy it yet again? Or will we kind of see everybody who's already on Coinbase start to sell out because you can resell it again, right? I don't know if they paused trading altogether. I don't know if they've, like, only paused selling or only buying or whatever. But if you can, if they release your Ripple and be like, hey, you can sell now, will people be selling out?
When did Coinbase even add Doge? Wasn't it I'm seeing the advertisements all the time. I know Coinbase just recently added Doge, But
It's
the price
it's my
really,
favorite chart on there right now.
it
If you
had
actually
no
pull it up.
effect. There was
Oh,
really
it
no effect.
did.
Did it? Maybe
Yeah,
this was a while ago when they added it.
I think it was a couple of weeks ago. But ever since it's been dumping. It's probably one
Yeah,
of my favorite charts in
that's what I was
crypto
gonna
right now.
say. Like there wasn't any
I have
positive
it up
result
right.
from doing it.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, there you go. It
That's the
didn't do
weekly
anything
chart.
helpful.
Yeah. uh, we went. Well, I mean, it might have done something helpful if you're like Barry Silbert and you shorted the top of this, right? I think his short entry was at 55, so um, he's doing pretty well. But yeah, Coinbase, ever since it got listed, we've been going down
Yeah.
from Coinbase to Doge right there.
I
So,
don't even know
uh,
if Coinbase was the reason behind the dump. I just think it had zero effect and there wasn't enough volume to have any influence on the price. I literally think
Yeah.
it was just an overhyped release. They added it to Coinbase so late in the game. You know, like if they added Doge to Coinbase, I don't know, a month or 2 months ago when Elon was pumping it, they would have had a lot more of a reaction, I feel like, than to do this in a bear market.
Yeah, no, I agree on that. And maybe it's setting up for the end of the year. Maybe Elon comes back and saves those at the end of 2021, right? And then people would be able to buy it on Coinbase. But the problem is that like people don't have to buy it. Like people who are buying it on Robinhood don't actually hold it either. So being able to buy it on Coinbase and send it back to your wallet is better, but that's also maybe why distribution might take a little bit longer on it. People aren't really holding Doge to like long-term hold Doge. It's a meme coin. We all are familiar with that. Everybody out of the space knows that too. That's why Safe Moon pumped so much, right? Yeah, there's no reason to hold Doge long term. And that's why I think it's really funny to see me get out traded by, Doge holders. Like when somebody texted me at the beginning of the year, like, oh yeah, I just bought Doge as a joke, and then they ended up cashing out at the top for like $3,500. Like they spent $100 to pay 3,500. But I'm like, what do you even do? So it's just really funny to see Dogecoin even get a Coinbase listing. If you remember, like Coinbase used to be so much against we're not going to list any shit coins. It's only going to be Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP,
Major
and
ones.
then what they list ICP, which I don't know if you can pull up that chart right now, but ICP from the 3K mark on Binance has gone down to $28. So you can probably see that here on the 4-hour chart. You can't even see it because of how small it got. But this got listed on Coinbase at the 3K point, and it's down to $28 right now. So a Coinbase listing does not mean what it used to. If you remember when they listed, I think it was ETC, like Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic went from $5 USD up to about 140, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So a Coinbase listing just doesn't do it anymore. It
Nope.
just means more places to dump, really, at this point. And kind of sad. Coinbase used to be like my favorite exchange, and now I don't even like do any.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
even
I don't-
use Coinbase Pro anymore. Like, it's too bad.
All
Like-
Coinbase Pro is just to sell out. If you're ready to
Yep.
just exit the market.
Yeah. And, we're all kind of just praying that, I don't know. Let's see here. So somebody in chat just said, you guys are nothing but short-minded losers. Keep trading pennies. 50 to 60% of your day trades are losses. Yeah,
think we're doing
wish,
pretty
I wish
damn
I
well.
could say that. I wish I could say that, but I'm definitely doing pretty well for myself here too.
Yeah.
I am gonna say though, 95% of day traders lose money. If you're not there every step of your trade, like you put in a trade and go for a walk, you're probably gonna come back liquidated. You just have to really be on top of things if you're going to be day trading, especially in crypto. It's not that the moves have been too crazy lately. I mean, we've moved 9% over the course of a month and a half. But when you are day trading and you're using that 50x leverage or 25x leverage, you're just going to want to be there every step of your trade. When you see it go into profit, just make sure you move your stop up with it. It's a very different market. You know, it's not like you can just set a trade at the beginning of the day and then, you know, at like tomorrow or the next day, you can take it out with profit. It's probably not going to be like that. Even if you're in profit in like 2 or 3 days, you almost just want to take profit immediately because it's probably going to dump back down to your entry like at some point before it goes higher or lower.
Well, I guess to also comment on that, but to also wrap up this video, because I have no idea how long we've been. It's probably been close to an hour by now.
No idea, bro. No idea.
But
so
moving forward, we're trading as a conservative level, or at least that's what I'm doing, and I'm trying. We have so many beginners that watch this and try to copy and imitate, and that's why what I've just learned is to play it as safe and as conservative as possible. So really, at least I haven't made as ton of, or as many trades as you could in a bull market. So right now, what I've been saying is just wait conservatively. Let's let this play out right now. Let's let XRP play out. Let's let these other major cryptocurrencies that are all retesting its bottom support, and then we'll be entering some sort of market very soon. It's probably going to be today, if not maybe tomorrow or the next day by the latest. I know I've been saying that, but this is the confirmation we've been waiting for, which is Bitcoin below 30K. And this should decide, moving forward, where that buy-in's going to be. We've been shorting it since 35. It fell all the way down. It's still going down. Very soon, we're going to have to decide whether we're going to flip bullish and start to see, reversals back up to 40K, or if we're just going to, continue to short to the downside. But I feel like that's going to pretty much wrap up the live stream. I guess more to come very soon.
oh yeah,
it's a crazy market, and a lot of people are definitely very salty that they've seen just red on their screen and red in their profits. But that's how it is.
My closing thoughts, and I know people are addressing it in chat, guys. YouTube is actually full of noobs. I'm not saying don't listen to other channels. You should just listen to every channel in the space and mainly throw it away. At the end of the day, no one knows what's about to happen next, and I think that's kind of the glory of it all. When we get that confirmation, when we get that move to the downside, breaking 30K was a pretty big psychological sentiment change. We'll probably notice that in like the fear and greed indexes pretty soon here. It's going to be worth maybe looking for more short opportunities into the rest of the week. So
yeah,
if you guys are in here every single day, if you guys are paying attention to, the minute charts or whatever, just know that no YouTuber is going to know what's going to happen next. We don't know the answers, but the problem with the market is that everybody's trying to guess what's going to happen next. Just look at the chart today. You will know what's going to happen if you block out most of the noise. So just play the chart that you have, and honestly, it's probably going to look pretty good at the end of the day. If you're short now, I know on Patreon we are short right now, so it is just something to keep in mind, guys. If you guys want to kind of jump more into our future or like more of our further developments in the space, I update Patreon quite a bit, so it will be something worth noting. But yeah, nobody knows exactly what's going to happen next, but I don't know. We're like the weathermen, really, at the end of the day.
I say it all the time.
Yeah. Like, you look at the charts now, it might change very quickly on a dime, but we'll be here every step of the way. If you guys are in here every day, thank you guys so much for stopping through today, too. I appreciate that. You guys will hopefully see me quite a bit more on here. And going forward, just me and Hayden, I know we go pretty far back, too. So, we'll figure it out, guys.
What do they say, Brady? We overdose?
Yeah. Guys, Bitcoin overdose here. Your daily dose of crypto. I do overdose. You guys don't have to. Definitely smack that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell down below. And guys, look both ways before you cross the street. Only you can prevent forest fires. Stay in school. Don't do drugs. Have fun. Stay safe. But most importantly, guys, buy Bitcoin. And
Peace.
follow Hayden on Twitter at CryptoVOfficial. And follow me over here too at Bitcoin Overdose on Twitter. Yeah, Hayden, closing remark, like last thing out.
I guess stay tuned for tomorrow's video. A lot more coming, and hopefully we'll have a decision by then for which direction we're going to close tonight's candle on for Bitcoin, whether we continue to short or if we close back above 30K and either get dragged out again for another week of this sideways nonsense consolidation, which hopefully will end, or we break to the upside. Nobody knows just yet. We'll find out extremely soon, but yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming out. We'll be back soon.